Welcome to Can We Talk Y'all podcast, where you can have conversation
without moderation.
A 90s feel
that hasn't lost its appeal.
With two girls and a guy
will catch your eye,
but not like that. So get your mind out of the gutter
and let's unclutter what happened this week.
Al, start this damn show.
What's up, everybody? It is episode 3. I'm glad to be back with you to discuss another topic. You know, April and I were downstairs and he was describing a situation with the dating and the expectations in the dating world today in the 21st century. And it kind of opened up some debate, some heated discussions. So I'm going to let April describe so that he can tell you a little bit of what we're going to discuss today. Go ahead, April.
All right, check this out. So when I was downstairs, I had saw online where this lady was having a birthday party and her husband was there with her. But she had invited like 6 or 7 of her friends to the birthday party. And so they was at a restaurant, and so at the end of the date, at the end of the dinner, the check came, and all the ladies was looking at her husband to pay for the bill. So that was one scenario, and we'll talk about that one. But the other scenario was, who pays for the date? Who pay when we're going out on a date? You know what I mean? Let's talk about this, Miss Felicia.
So let's start with that. So before we go into your scenario, let's talk about who pays for the date. It's a traditional date. So let's not even get into how we met. You know, is it our first time meeting each other face to face? Is it a blind date? Did we meet online? Let's just kind of tear down all of those scenarios and go back to the basics. So boy meets girl. And, you know, hey, boy probably asked girl for digits or something like that. Could be social media so he can reach out to her so they can make contact. So, in my opinion, for the first date, as a female, and I'm going to be real vulnerable and admit that I'm very traditional, so I believe in traditional roles. So I'm just going to say from my perspective, I am going to wait until boy asks girl for a date. And when I wait for that, and when that happens, my expectation is that he is going to pay for the meal.
Okay. I don't mind. Let me say this. I don't mind paying for the meal. The first date, I don't even mind paying for the first couple date. Let me ask you that. But my thing is, as long as I ask you, I think who asks who pays. Let me say that, because what if we in date 8 now, and you was like, man, you know what? I'm really feeling some. Hey, we're in the South, so let's get it out. American deli and fries. You know what I mean? You can't come to Georgia without American deli, man. Posted everywhere. So you're talking about American deli and some fries. And you're like, hey, babe, you want to go to American deli and some fries? I'm like, sure, we can do that. So we get to American deli and some fries. It's like you asked me out because you said, hey, I want to go to American deli and some fries. So will you pay for that meal, or will you expect me to pay for that meal?
It depends. So it depends on how many dates we've had, how I'm feeling you. I'm looking for cues like that you are going to take the lead as a giver in the relationship. So let's say that we had been out on date 1, date 2, date 3. They went off without a hitch. I'm feeling you. Like 9 times out of 10, I'm going to be like, let's go to American Deli. I got this, because you've taken care of the first 3 dates. So you have set an expectation and you've kind of laid the groundwork for you're going to be a giver in this relationship that we're starting to form, whether we decide to continue on with it or not. But my thing is, if I see that you're a giver, you're going to inspire me to be a giver.
Okay, but when if I'm paying for the first 4 or 5 days, that's a giver. I'm a giver. I'm paying for these.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I would expect if you invite me out, I wouldn't expect, because I seen one scenario online. See, the internet is undefeated. It's undefeated. Maybe I shouldn't watch it as much, but hey, we content creators, so we have to be out there. So this one lady, she invited her friend out. They were just friends. And unfortunately, he was a male. Fortunately, he was a male. She was a female, but they never crossed the line. They was just friends.
Okay.
And they went to this restaurant. She called him up, and they went to this restaurant. And when the check came, she was like, "Oh, he got it." And he was like, "This is $175." And he was like, "You asked me out." And they got into a little heated debate, but it was professional heated debate. They weren't screaming and stuff. But he was like, "You invited me out here. I could have stayed home. How you know I have $175? You know what I mean?" And she was like, "Because I wanted tacos, and you my friend, so I thought you was." I mean, I don't think it was tacos. It was someplace, but it cost a lot of money. And she was like, "Well, you was my friend, and I know you have it." But he was like, "How you know I have it to spend?" And so it's like
got into
that
it.
debate, and it's like, I don't know if they stayed friends. I don't know if it was skit. But my thing is, in that scenario, if you call me to go out for dinner, either we go Dutch or you pay for the meal, because you don't know how my pockets is.
I think it's different as a friendship, you know. So even if the friendship is between a male and a female, I wouldn't have that expectation of my friend to just pick up the tab all the time. In fact, if I look back over my friendships in the past and relationships that I've had with other women, me and Tarika, actually, when we go out to dinner, we're literally fighting each other over the check. I got it this time. No, you got it last time. It's my time. It's my time. Because we just have we've laid a foundation in our friendship that we feel like, okay, you got it, you get it this time, I'm going to get it next time, but we're never going to take advantage of each other. And if I'm just short, I could be honest with my friends, and I can say, "Hey, I'm short, you know, if we go out, is it okay? Can you pick it up?" And then if she's really my friend, then she's not going to judge me. So the same way in a male to female friendship, I would not take advantage of a male and just assume that he's always going to pick up the tab. And I wouldn't even do it in a relationship. I wouldn't assume, like, you've laid a good foundation. You showed me that you can take me out for a nice dinner. I want to participate and I want to give back, because I'm receiving something that I feel like makes me feel good as a woman. And I'm like, I want to do something for this person back. So yeah, that's kind of how I would lay the foundation of starting off. But I do, just because of my traditional outlook and my values, I do expect in the first couple of times that the male is going to pick up the check, or at the very least we can go Dutch. Yeah. But yeah, so that's just kind of how I feel about that. But if you kind of flip it over to your scenario, and let's talk about that for a little while. So, ladies and gentlemen you guys that are listening, we're specifically talking about a female that felt the need to invite several friends or family members. I'm not really sure what you said, Abru, but in other words, there's extra people at the table. And you are potentially meeting this person for the first time, maybe the second or the third, or it could be the 10th time. But the expectation that the male should pick up the check because you're testing him, or I don't know what you're doing. To be honest, I don't think it's his responsibility to pick up the tab for you and all your guests that are seated around the table. I don't even if this is your family, it's your mom, your dad, and grandma, and brothers and sisters. I don't even think that that's a fair thing to expect. What about you, Aber? What do you think?
Well, I'm gonna get to that one, but I want to go back and say, like you say, you and Tarika was, y'all pick up. Me and King David like that also. King David might join us over the next couple of shows, but you know what I mean. We like that too. We fight over the check. Whoever, it is what it is. You know what I mean. Yeah. We'll pick up the check. One of us might pick up the check 2 or 3 times, and then be like, "Hey man, I got this one because you got last one." Yeah. So it don't matter when you true friends. So I understand about that. As far as if I go out or invite if just say you had a party and I invite your friends out to celebrate whatever we might have going on, I don't think it's that man or the male's responsibility to pay for 9, 10, 12 people, and people got the expectation, well, he's the man of the table, so I'm gonna order 2 or 3 drinks, because that's what they was doing.
Yeah.
Ordering 2 or 3 drinks, ordering meals that they wouldn't pay for themselves. And then when the check came, I'm talking about, I think it was like 10 people, and the check was like $1,000. And it's like, all right, well, he's the man. And his wife was like, no, my husband is not paying for, he paying for me. And I think their daughter was there, and he paid for and rightfully so.
Right.
But the other women, I think there was her friends and coworkers and stuff that, I'm gonna say he did like try to have a birthday dinner for his wife. So he's like, hey, she gonna be celebrating here. And so they thought, well, we could come and get a free meal. I think, I'm not for sure that it was clear, but it wasn't his responsibility to pay. If you really don't, you shouldn't go nowhere if you don't have the money. That's my opinion.
Well, it sounds to me like the woman in the scenario backed up, her significant other, and said no to the family. He's not responsible. But let's talk about the audacity of the other members of the table to have that expectation, not only of the male, but also of the female. This is your date at the table with all of us. And because he's the man at the table, he should pay for all of us. Like, where is the line? It's like, it sounds like some habitual line stepping. You've crossed the line as a family member to place that expectation.
Well, I did a show on the Abru Yasharel Experience where this one lady invited 23 of her family members to dinner on a blind date. This was a blind date with the guy. And she wanted to test his generosity and pay for all 23 of her family members plus herself and him. So that's like, what, 25 people? Now, that's something you really don't do. That's idiotic and that's stupid. And he ended up walking away, which I would have did the same thing. I'm not paying for 23 other people. I will pay for you.
First of all, why are the excess people on the first date? That's my question for that scenario.
She said she wanted to test his generosity toward her family before they get serious. I'm like, it's a blind date. Who said it's going to get serious?
Like, you shouldn't be thinking serious if you never come into contact with that person and this is the first time. Like, that is what the dating process is about, is getting to know you. Do I even want to be bothered with you before I decide, do I want to be a part of your family? Like, I think that the expectation in that scenario was just really crazy. Like, what makes you think that the man is up for a test and he's not even been on the first date with you?
Well, for one, don't test me. Now, especially on a blind date, especially on our first date. It don't have to be a blind date, but if this is our first date, don't even test me on our 5th date until we got to a restaurant, till we at a level where I'm comfortable with you and you comfortable with me, because you don't know how I'm going to respond. You know what I mean? I probably would have did the exact same thing my guy did. He got up and he left.
Absolutely.
And she was stuck with $3,100 food tab.
No, absolutely not. And so let's take it over to and share a little bit of our history, like when we first got to know each other. And one of the things that made me connect with Abru and really feel like, it's time for me to pay for a date is because initially he set the groundwork for like how things would be in our relationship. And he made some moves that, maybe some men aren't even willing to make those moves in today's society. But I would say that, he paid for the first date. I'm sure he paid for the second or third, but that spirit of generosity inspired something within me. And now I wanted to do something for him back. And so it was a pleasure for me. I'm not really sure if it was date 3 or date 4 that I picked up the tab, but I was anxious to participate. And the reason is because relationships are bi-directional. There's some give and there's some take. And so although I'm from the standpoint, I believe in traditional roles. I believe that, as a woman, I want to be pursued. I want to be asked out on the date. I'm probably not going to ask you out on the date. So I'm waiting. I'm interviewing you to see what type of man you're going to be. And when you stepped up to the plate, it made me want to step up to the plate. But what I don't understand is, in today's society with people that are dating these days, some of the high expectations, like men should be taking you out to Capitol Grill every day, every night of the week. And you have these high expectations. That's not how I treated my husband in our dating process. I would have been happy to go to McDonald's. I would have been happy to go to American Deli. And then, he showed me, well, I can take you someplace nice. It's your birthday or it's a special occasion. Let's do something nice, just me and you. Then he could step up to that. But I never would be so bold as to assume that, every woman feels like that they should be showered with gifts, but I'm not going to assume that you have a type of bank account that could support that.
Exactly. So let me ask you, a lot of women here, unfortunately, we're in a time where a lot of women, do you remember the scenario, maybe, I don't know, a few months, maybe a year now, where the lady said she didn't eat at the Cheesecake Factory?
Yeah, I think you told me about this.
Yeah, she didn't eat at the Cheesecake Factory. She 5-star and above. And I'm like, you eating at places like Nubo's and stuff like that. And that's like a 5-star restaurant, which you finna spend about $400 and up. And I'm like, how do you know that man got it? But listen, I'm gonna tell you, I told my son, this is what I told my son, and my wife might agree. Well, no, she didn't, because she just put it out there. I told my son the first day, go to American Deli, chicken wings and fries. Go get some chicken wings and fries.
Yeah, it's the first day.
My thing is, you don't know me, I don't know you. Are you worthy of a $200 date meal? I'm just being honest with you, because some people just going out to eat. They ain't bit more studying you.
Yes.
And want a man in the moon, but they want to go to these restaurants that they can't even afford to take themselves. So I told my kids, my son, take out to chicken wings, fries, take on a coffee date, like
totally
that.
Reasonable. And it's a different day for this generation that our son is in.
Yeah.
My son is a college student, and he is busting his tail to set his future up to be something where he can take somebody to a Capitol Grill or a Seasons 52. But initially, when he's talking to a young lady, I would completely support that. Yeah, absolutely. Like, everything is overinflated right now. The price of everything is extremely high. So take a coffee date, take an American Deli date, do something affordable. And if the females can't understand why, I mean, you're single. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
You have some ability to be able to relate to the fact that maybe I shouldn't spend my entire paycheck on a meal. So be reasonable, ladies. Let's just be reasonable. I said I was traditional, and I truly believe in roles in a relationship. And I had expectations in my relationship with my husband, and I believe that he should take me out. But that doesn't mean I don't get in and do some giving for myself. Let's let this be a bi-directional, healthy relationship off the rip, because that's just the type of person I am. And I'm that way with my friends as well.
I got you on that. And I know, we've been together a long time, you know what I mean? So now I've seen your growth, you done seen my growth, but we became friends.
Yeah,
and I think
we did.
Every strong relationship had to have a solid friendship. So we got to do that. So, but with that said, man, Felicia, I'm gonna let you close this thing out. I'm gonna let you, just put your spin on it, and now we go from there.
Absolutely. So, it's a debate, and we hope that this conversation kind of opened your ears to different point of views, and we hope that it inspires something. Listen, Can We Talk? Y'all got some additional topics that are going to be coming out real soon, and so we want you guys to be on the lookout for some additional shows and some really good content. And so until then, we'll see you all next time.